Hey, happy Wednesday with the Word. Today I'm going to tell you a story. It comes out of Daniel chapter 3, right after what we read and talked about this last Sunday. So here's Daniel chapter 3, and you remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Well, these three men were tied up, verse 21 says, tied up in their trousers, their coats, their caps, all of their other clothes, and they were cast into the midst of the furnace of blazing fire. And for this reason, because the king's command was so urgent and the furnace had been made extremely hot, the flame of the fire slew the men who carried up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But these three, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell into the midst of the furnace of blazing fire, still tied up. And then Nebuchadnezzar, verse 24 says, he was astounded and stood up in haste. And he said to his high officials, was it not three men we cast bound into the midst of the fire? They replied to the king, certainly, O king, that's the truth. He said, look, I see four men loosed and walking about in the midst of the fire without harm, and the appearance of the fourth is like a son of the gods. Okay, so something happens before verse 24 in this section of the Bible. See, Nebuchadnezzar had been so furious with these three guys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they would not bow to his idol. And so they wouldn't worship like he wanted them to worship, and they wouldn't worship him. So he was going to throw them, kill them, destroy them, throw them into the fiery furnace. And he had men gathered around carrying these three brothers up to the fire. They expired. They were slewn by the fire, by the flames. They were so hot. But the three brothers, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they fell into the furnace. And then something amazing. The Bible actually points it out. It says that they fell into the furnace and they landed, but they were still tied up. And then the next thing you know, Nebuchadnezzar looks in and he sees them, and it points out this one fact: they are loosed. They are free of their ropes, of their shackles, of their chains, of whatever was binding them. They are loose of those things because they were in a fire. You see, I know, you and I both, I don't like to go to the fire. And you may be saying today, I can see the storm in front of me, but I don't want to head that direction. You may be thinking, this wrestling match, it's too much for me to handle. I'm tied up already. I'm broken. I'm bound. I'm destroyed. I'm distraught. And you're afraid to walk into the fire. But take a note from Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. When they got to the fire, they were free. I know you don't want to go to the fire. I don't want to go to the fire. But in the fire, Christ is there, and we are set free. I pray that you'd walk toward the challenge this week and praise God for what he does in the midst of the storm. God bless. Have a great Wednesday.